We live.
Repeat. Mazda is sadly happened.
The Spirit itself beareth witness with our spirit that we are the children of God. And if children, then heirs, heirs of God, and joint heirs with Christ. If so be that we suffer with him, that we may be also glorified together. For I reckon that the sufferings in this present time are not worthy to be compared with the glory which shall be revealed in us. For the earnest expectation of the creature waiteth for the manifestation of the sons of God. For the creature was made subject to vanity, not willingly, but by reason of him who hath subjected the same, in hope, because the creature itself also shall be delivered from the bondage of corruption into the glorious liberty of the children of God. For we know that the whole creation groaneth and travaileth in pain together until now. And not only they, but ourselves also, which have the first fruits of the Spirit, even we ourselves groan within ourselves, waiting for the adoption, to wit, the redemption of our body. I will declare the decree. The Lord hath said unto me, Thou art my son. This day have I begotten thee. Ask of me, and I shall give thee the heathen for thine inheritance, and the uttermost parts of the earth for thy possession. Thou shalt break them with a rod of iron. Thou shalt dash them in pieces, like a potter's vessel. Be wise now, therefore, O ye kings. Be instructed, ye judges of the earth.
Repeat. Mazda is sadly happened.
Shalom. First and foremost, I would like to give all praise and glory to Yahweh by Hashem, Yahweh Shah by Hashem, Rakakadash, and double honor to the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, being great examples towards younger brothers, and peace and blessings and salutation to the hopeful elect out there pushing his word and truth and in sincerity across the four winds in the name of Yahweh by Hashem, and all I want to the hopeful elect, the believers and listeners who have came back to the obedience of the scriptures through faith in Yahweh by Hashem Shah. All right, I'm the brother Ayashimah, along with the beloved brother Halak. All right, with GMS Mississippi camp, and coming with a lesson. All right, in the spirit is a reward on the way. The best of the best. A reward is on the way, and it's the best of the best, man. Because the truth requires us, to transform our thinking. To elevate our thinking, to elevate our expectations, man. Because this world, dealing with the tribes, has, especially with the Israelite man, has, destroyed, and really manipulated, our expectation, to where you look at how society is set up, the tribes are at the bottom, the tail, okay, and then the tail of the tribes is the Israelite man, So here it is, we have the lowest rank according to Esau's status in this world, but it's necessary because in order for us to be the head, we would have to be the tail, So we embrace, being the tail, but what happening as we're to tell, we begin to develop a ruling class mentality, man. And if we want the best of the best in righteousness, we don't want nothing that this man has to offer, man. That was a time when we was obsessed, with the perks of this world, being popular, being famous, being rich, okay, trying to be a rapper, athlete, some type of entrepreneur, some type of big time dope boy, whatever, we was into, man. Okay. You see, whatever we was into, we was obsessed with these things. And we thought the rewards that we seen, on the music videos and later on the social media, that was the thing to strive for, man. But then as we mature in the spirit, man, we see, man, these things are low level. Like Esau has a low level kingdom, and what he offers as a reward is low level, man. Okay. So we're gonna get some precepts, Lord will, you brothers, all right, and you few sisters are edified. Now let's go here. You had something you want to say, bro, before we get the first precept?
Khan, I like
You
to
got
add
it, bro.
to what you were saying is that in this kingdom, especially with Jake being at the bottom, we glorify getting the crumbs. We're happy
Con,
with paying. We're happy
con,
with we're happy with paying bills. We're happy with
con.
getting a car note.
Yeah.
We're happy with being the fifth, sixth man or woman that have dealt with.
Yeah. If not the 50th and 60th, goddamn.
Yeah, you're ecstatic about going to vote. We can vote now. We can vote.
Yeah,
Nah,
yeah. Con,
nah.
bro.
You're ecstatic for choosing someone to rule over you. Nah, that's not where we supposed to be, especially as the sons of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. We were made to be the gods upon the earth, and you're happy with base men ruling over you. That's not how it's supposed to be, you know?
Con, bro. Hey, since you said that, I got a precept, but you keep making your point, bro. You just made me think
Kind.
of it.
We're not supposed to be happy with this. This is supposed to be a punishment,
Yeah, right.
you
Niggas
know?
done fell in love with prison. Yeah, like you say, niggas done fell in love with the prison, bro.
Okay.
You know. So this is the book of Psalms. It's like 82. Because like you said, we the sons of God. That's another thing, man. We're stepping into being the sons of God, man. You know, and as we realize who we are, man, we really realize our circumstances, man. And that's why you increase in wisdom, you increase in sorrow, man. Because when you're foolish, like you say, going to vote is an accomplishment. Okay, getting the woman, liking every woman that smiled at you, that's an accomplishment. You remember we used to brag about getting phone numbers, talk about how many phone numbers we got, just straight slave, man. Hey, this is Psalms 82 and 6. It says, I have said ye are gods, and all of you are the children of the Most High, but ye shall die like men and fall like one of the princes. You got it, bro.
Kind. You die like men and fall like one of the princes. We fell from the form of glory. We're supposed to be in the likeness of Yahweh Shema Shai. That's immortal. That's everlasting glory. Each time you're supposed to walk by, you put a smile on people's faces because they happy just to be in your presence. They're ecstatic about you, but now they look at you and they want to get away. They look at you, they say you the problem of the
Yep.
earth. You the problem of the earth. You the filth of the earth. Look at these people. You know, it's shame. It's shame. We're dying a base man's death, and we what? We were supposed to be like Yahweh Hashem Shai, but we fell from that former glory.
Come, bro. And since you said that, bro. So let's go here. It's Isaiah 60:10. It says, "And the sons of strangers shall build up thy walls, and the king shall minister unto thee. For in my wrath I smote thee, but in my favor have I had mercy on thee." And just to add to your point, like we're suffering the Lord's wrath. You know, we're not supposed to be here in a celebratory spirit, and we're suffering the wrath of our Heavenly Father. You know, here it is, like you say, Jake boasts about getting a good job or how much he make on somebody else's job. Okay, but then the promises say the Lord says, strangers shall build up thy walls. You know, here it is, Jake bragging about being a worker, but the Lord like, nah, I'm gonna make these heathens work for you. You know, these heathens are gonna build your palaces and your estates, the palaces of your sons and daughters and wives, okay, are gonna be built. You're gonna have your own labor force. You know, a nigga brag about making so much money or being some type of, entrepreneur, but not now. The Lord, like, I'm gonna give you your own labor force, man. You know, and that's how power wants us to think, man. And it's gonna be in righteousness, man. You know, so we're dealing with the wrath of the Lord, but now we're getting ready to deal with Lord's favor, His mercy. You know, and the Lord gonna give us the best of the best, man. You know, you had something to say, bro?
Kind, I would like to add, having strangers build up our walls and stuff like that. Again, going back to the beginning, he's making us, that's a fashion of being like him. With him and the Alahayim, creating everything for him. He just gave him the blueprint. That's what he want to do with his sons. He want to give you servants so they can do the will of your mind. They can go out, you give the command, you give the blueprint, and they go create the things you have said. You got to think about that. He's going to give you dominion over other nations, people. It's gonna be far out than that, because even the animals will obey us. Even the animals will obey the elect. So what? It's gonna be on a whole nother.
Like,
oh, you got it.
Nah, bro, finish your point. I'll wait till you get there.
I was gonna say it's gonna be a whole nother glory. It's gonna be a whole nother glory.
And it's beautiful, bro, because I just thought about it when you said it. I just thought about it when you said it, because like you said, in the kingdom, it's going to be our will. We're going to speak our will to existence, but it's going to be nations that carry it out with their labor. That's what we finna be on, man. That's why I say we gotta think big, man. This world has, beaten us down as a people to where we think so small and so slave minded. But as we tap into Yahweh Shem Shah, okay, it makes us big thinkers, man. Like you said, like the Heavenly Father, He spoke His will to Yahweh Shah, okay, and everything was created. You see, off His spoken will to Yahweh Shah, and the kingdom. That's how it's gonna be with us and these heathens, man. We're gonna speak our will, what we want, how we want to design, what material, this and that and that. It's gonna be our will playing out through the labor of these heathens, man. And, going back to like you said, bro. Okay, and what we're learning in this captivity is that we have to maintain righteousness, man. The privilege is gonna be there. Lord don't mind blessing us and giving us the best of the best and having all these privileges, man. But He wants us to maintain the earth in righteousness, man. Okay? And now we're learning, okay, righteousness has to be established. The privilege is gonna be the earth gonna give forth its strength. Okay, the Lord gonna give us power, the Lord gonna give us dominion, and these heathens was created to serve us. But righteousness has to be established, and this is what this captivity is training us. And instilling in us, man. You see? But I got that in Philippians too. If you didn't have nothing, bro.
I had something.
Yeah, what you got, bro?
Okay, before we get that, I had one to also add. I had heard this saying. It went like this: it's easy to be a saint in paradise, and what came to my mind is like,
right.
That's correct. Can you be a saint, when you're at the bottom of the bottom? You know, can you maintain? Can you still want and do righteousness? You know, that's like that's turning the saints into like gold, because even at the lowest state, they yearn for righteousness because they see how it is at the bottom. They see what needs to be done. They see what needs to be maintained. You know, and it all starts from within. Okay, let me maintain myself. You know, maintaining your keep what's that word I'm looking for? Keeping your moral code, maintaining yourself steadfast in Yahweh Shema Shai's, ways while we're at the bottom. And those are the ones he's looking for, you know.
Learning restraint, because all
Kind
that privilege takes a lot of restraint, and the privilege that we're gonna have in the kingdom, man. The Lord is, like you say, bro, He's instilling us restraint so we can maintain ourselves forever, man. What you had, bro?
I wanted you to give me Deuteronomy chapter 15, verse 5 and 6.
Oh yeah. Now you talking about something. Yeah, this is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 15, verses 5. It says, it's like only if thou carefully hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy power, to observe to do all these commandments which I command this day. For the Lord thy power blessed thee as he promised thee, and thou shalt lend unto many nations, but thou shalt not borrow, and thou shalt reign. And thou shalt reign over many nations, but they shall not reign over thee.
Kind. That's how it's supposed to be if we were to keep, that covenant with Yahweh Shem Shai, But now, because we broke it, guess what? We have to go to Esau. We have to go to these loan places and ask to borrow money. You gotta beg to borrow money. Yeah. You gotta go in their stores to buy your clothes, your food, and they can do whatever they want to it. Because first it comes to them, they can do whatever they can put witchcraft over it. They can hit it with them chemicals. They can do whatever they want to, then give it to you while laughing. You being poisoned, but you being poisoned, but you still gotta eat it, because if you don't, you gonna starve.
Right. And
that's
no, you got it, bro. I thought you were
okay.
Done. Go ahead.
Okay, I was gonna say, and that's truly being in a powerless state, knowing that this man has manipulated, touched, cursed, whatever he did to you, and give it to you openly, letting you know that it has all these things in it, but you still gotta take it, and you can do nothing about it. That's being powerless.
Yep.
And people rejoice in being in such a situation. Oh, stop.
Now, I just say it's beautiful that you brought that word up, powerless. Like I said, here it is. Just to add to what you're saying, you got niggas like Mayweather that done all these great things in the sports world, got all this money, but then this nigga still got to go to the same courtroom and be powerless to the nigga woman and get put on child support. So it's like, what is it to gain? So why spend like all the time? And he's just an example of one of many. So it's like, why spend all this time becoming the master of a craft, getting all this wealth, but then still have no true power, still being a joke in another man's system? Still having to sell yourself, to another man's corporation, man. So it's like, Jake is powerless, man. We're powerless here, man. So we look at these things, with clarity in the scriptures, man. And you look at, the situation we in, man. There's no way to truly obtain power in this setup. And the Lord set it up like this to where we can never have true power until we went through Him, turning back to Him. And we have to wait on His Son, Yahushua. So the Lord got it set up to where you can't obtain true power, you can't obtain true wealth, The woman, not your woman. As long as this system is up and going, nothing is yours. As the Israelite man, you have nothing. Okay? This system is set up to keep you powerless, man. Okay, to where even a woman has authority over you in this system, you know? But you got it, bro.
Kind. That was beautiful put, man. It's like, again, you have no power. As a brother has said, you have no power over your woman, over your children. You know, they can defy you. They can do whatever and go scot free. Hell, they'll be even rewarded. They'll get benefits, you know, for doing
Right,
so.
right.
Showing you that you are at the bottom, that you are powerless, that
Exactly.
you're nothing in this man's kingdom. So why should you glory in being in this man's kingdom? You have something so much better coming if you choose Yahweh Shai. You know, if you can sit still and be patient for him to return and not, turn this man and be like, man, it ain't working for me. I might as well get, make the best of hell, make the best of what you got. Nah. You got to
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
making
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
making
yeah,
a
yeah.
great investment with Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. You know,
Oh. Since you said that, bro, I got you, bro. Because that's a weak mindset too, to just because things are not happening when you want it to happen, to change up, even though it's already promised. The Lord already promised he was gonna do it. So that's a weak mindset to change up because something don't happen on your time. So you want to change up and do it your way. That's a real weak mindset, man. And when you go into Second Ezra 7, because you had just made a beautiful point. Yep, the Second Ezra 7:57 said, Then answered he me and said, This is the condition of the battle which man that is born upon the earth shall fight, that if he be overcome, he shall suffer as thou hast said, but if he get the victory, he shall receive the thing that I say. You got it, bro.
Khan, and that's the kingdom. That's the eternal glory. That's some new bodies with power. If you overcome, you know, that's everything he promised you. That's 100 times more, as he said, 100 folds more. Because the apostle asked, "Hey, what we gain, we lost. What we gain, we sacrifice all." He said he'll give you 100 times more. That's a promise. You know, Yahweh Shema Shai, they are men of they are ancient world men who are known to keep their oath, to keep their promises. You ain't had to write it down on paper. You ain't had to worry about man pinning his hand behind his back and crossing his finger. No, no. They were mans of their word, powers of their word, you know, and you gotta wait on that. But if you fail and you take that man mark, all the horror and pain and suffering that was written is gonna happen, and you're gonna fall into that. You know why? Because you was weak. You know, you didn't believe in your Lord. You sided with the enemy.
Yep.
You can't you
Hey,
can't
come,
side with.
bro.
Oh, you got it.
Now you finish your point.
I was gonna say, you can't side with the enemy and expect to be rewarded with gold. Nah, you make the excuse. I was just trying to get it how I live. Mm-mm. He said that's the brainwashing of your enemy. Your enemy teaches you dumb things like that. That's why you have to renew your mind with the scriptures. Renew your mind with the thinking of Yahweh Shem Shai. You know, you got it.
Yep. Yeah, bro. And just to add to what you're saying, like what you said, like someone to change up because change is not happening on their time, and like, nah, man. It ain't about our time. Because remember, like you said, bro, we're in punishment. You know, we don't decide when punishment is up. We don't decide when the Lord's wrath is done with us, man. Nah, man. And see, and as we grow in understanding, we understand that, wait a minute, we're not, the elect not being punished, we're being chastened. Now, we are in the punishment, but then the Lord has this punishment as a chastening for the elect, which is preparing us to be joint heirs. So we can be prepared for the reward that Yahweh shall come with. So we can be ready for the best of the best, man. Our minds are being transformed in the midst of the chastening. Because you got to go through the situations to be that finished product. You know, you can't avoid the process that the Lord has us on, all right, to be the finished product, man. We got to go through these situations to become what the Lord wants us to become, you know? So this is the condition of the battle. To get the greatest reward, that to get the greatest reward in existence, man, this is the condition of the battle. We got to go through these particular moments and times, this chastening, this suffering, man. You know, we was born into this battle, man. Okay, but the reward, but if you don't have faith in their reward on the back end, okay, you're not going to be built for the battle, man. You see, you're going to be overcome. You know, you're gonna give in to that weak nature, okay, of going with the flow, that going along to get along spirit, man. Okay, just trying to get what you can, like you say, in captivity. You see? So if you be overcome by that weak mindset, you're gonna suffer. All right, Jacob's trouble. All right, World War III, the nukes. You're gonna suffer all these things, man. You're gonna suffer all the torment, the teeth of wild beasts, everything that the scriptures speak about, the pestilence, the plagues. Okay, you're gonna suffer everything the scriptures talk about if you don't endure and overcome. You know, if you be overcome, you're gonna suffer, man. But then we get the victory, we're gonna receive everything that the Lord promised, man. The Lord promised us the best of the best, man. You know, I got something else. You had something else, bro? All right.
Khan. Well, you can get yours first, bro.
What you got, bro? No, I get you got it, bro. So you right, spirit riding, bro.
Okay, Khan. You give me 2 Timothy chapter 2, verse 12.
Yep.
You know, because as the brother was saying, you know, if you give up and you give in, you choose an enemy, you're gonna be destroyed with him. You're gonna get the same reward the enemy is gonna get, and that's death. Horrible death, man. You know? We have to go through it, you know, we have to. Why? Because he's fashioning us like him. You know? You got it, bro.
Bro. It's the book of 2 Timothy chapter 2 and verse 12. It says, if we suffer, we also shall reign with him. If we deny him, he also will deny us.
Kind. You don't want to do that because Yahweh Shema Shai, again, he's fair. He's fair. You know? I know Christian churches teaches y'all if you you know, he just this guy who just skipping in the flowers. Again, you deny him, he's gonna deny you, you know. But if you suffer with him, if you suffer for him with him, well, you gonna reign with him. You know, you suffering for his name's sake, you know, suffering because you're trying to keep within his boundaries. You're gonna be rewarded. You know. You got it.
Come on, bro. And if I can, I want to read verse 11 as well. It said it was a faithful saying. The 2 Timothy 2 and 11 says a faithful saying, for if we be dead with him, we shall also live with him. You see? So if we're dead to this world, just as Yahweh Shai, because when Yahweh Shai came, he was dead to this world. He was all about the assignment of the Father, man. He wasn't into his current life in the Roman Empire. Okay, he didn't invest in it. You know, he was a carpenter, he got his daily bread. And then when he started his ministry, he left, you know, his profession, and his ministry became his profession, man. You know, all the way until his death. You see? So Yahweh Shai was dead to this world, man. He didn't care about the accolades of this world. He had spiritual powers. Okay? He had spiritual powers, but he was dead to this world. There was nobody that could have been a bigger celebrity within the Roman Empire than Yahushua. Okay? Well, he wasn't invested into that. He was dead to all that, man. You see? So as we die, as we begin to put out our ambitions, we're preparing ourselves to live with Yahushua forever, to reign with Yahushua forever. So we put off, these ambitions in this current right now. We chalk this up as a loss. Our life and the agenda, like I say, we had ambitions, brothers got talents, and brothers got a few mixtapes floating around, back in the day, you see. But now, man, we're dead to those ambitions, man, and we're alive in Yahushua and what he got coming, man. Our expectation exceeds anything of this world. It's out of world. We have out of worldly expectations, man, and most of the world not gonna explain that, man. They're not gonna understand it. Okay, let's you had something else, because if you're on the road, keep rolling. I said I can always get what I got.
Count, I just want to add to what you're saying. This world, they don't teach you that. They don't teach you that kind of mindset. Because what they want you as a slave, they don't want the slaves thinking about rulership. They
No,
don't want the workforce think about being free, having a ruling class mentality. Nah, they need you working. They need you as the hands and foot. Cause if you start to once you become free in your mind through your how about Shemal Shai, then you're a force to be reckoned with, because now you're thinking of things further ahead. You're thinking of things beyond this world, beyond this current moment, because if you're stuck in the past and present, there's no forward forward thinking, there's no goal, you know you know there's no goal. That's why you have to have your minds, your heart to be meditating on things above, and that's Yahweh Shemal Shai. He's coming with things far out of our imagination. He's coming with a higher way of living, a higher way of doing things, technology, just everything. It's gonna be on a whole nother level of things some of the things only you can only fantasize about, but that's just just a small aspect of what Yahweh Shemal Shai has allowed us to think of. Because Scripture says, "Eyes have not seen, ears have not heard, neither have come into the minds of man of the things Yahweh Shemal Shai will give to them." Roughly paraphrasing, you know,
bro, we don't even have the capacity to, like you say, we don't even have the mental capacity to comprehend the blessing, bro. Just to add to what you're saying, you got
kind. Kind of is far out, and the enemy don't want you thinking like that. The enemy don't want you thinking that like that. That's why he'll try to spew out these philosophies to make you an atheist, to make you an unbeliever, to make you give you a wrong spiritual understanding, so you don't go back to your power. He's doing everything. He has set up so many stumbling blocks to keep you away from your power, to keep you at a low frequency of thinking, so he can have his time to achieve the blessing, his synthetic blessing, because what he has he has that ruling class mindset, and he's trying to make sure everybody else don't. And those that do, what he go to war with them. He try to put them down. You got it.
bro. Since you spoke on that, I got this for you. St. John 8:23, and he said unto them, "Ye are from beneath, I am from above. Ye are of this world, I am not of this world."
Kind. He's from a far higher world, far better place. His ways of thinking and doing, knowledge, just pure knowledge. Power of doing things is gonna be magnificent. Cause what he said, roughly paraphrasing, he said the laws of the laws are shadow of things to come, you know, because the working
Yep.
is going to
Yep.
be so grand. I think that was Paul that said he seen things that it wouldn't be lawful for him to utter. Come on, man.
Yep. 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 And that's coming to the world. How Shai is bringing it to the earth and say, well, let it be done on earth, let it be done in heaven, on earth as it is in heaven. So Yahweh Shai is bringing it to this world, man. Like you said, he's bringing the reality of the heavens to this world, man. Like I said, we ain't started yet. You know, like we ain't started yet, bro. Like the things that people obsess about, bro. This don't even register to what Yahweh Shai is finna bring, man. You know, like this don't even register. You see, and our expectations are aligning with Yahweh. See, our expectations in the heavens, man. This gonna seem strange to most people. We seem weird. We can't go have these conversations with most of the people we know. You know, they'll look at us like we're bugged out. Okay, because our expectations exceed this world, man, far above. And the more we in this thing, the more our expectations begin to exceed this world, man. Well, we become dead to this. What could Esau offer us knowing we got to come? Like you said, bro. Now that we know this, you don't have nothing to offer. Okay? And the main two, Esau and Eve, they don't got nothing to offer. Once you really tap into your Yahweh Shai, Esau and Eve don't got nothing to offer. You know, there was a time when Jake lived his life, you know, to be appeasing to Esau and Eve, man. Them days over with for the elect, man. Okay? They have nothing to offer us, man. They have nothing, okay, that's worth, all right, investing in. You see, as we tap back into our power. But you got it, bro. I got some more precepts for you, too.
Can you get some for me?
Yeah, I got what you got.
Okay, just letting back up what you said. You said we haven't even started. Can you give me 2 Peter chapter 3 verse 8?
Come. This is the book of 2 Peter chapter 3 and verse 8. It said, but beloved, be not ignorant of this one thing, that one day is with the Lord as 1,000 years, and 1,000 years is one day.
God, we haven't even started. Creation haven't even really started, you know. This is just a blueprint. This is like the tutorial. This is the tutorial to to true life. We just got to get through the tutorial, learn the game, learn the system, learn how to live, you know, learn how to actually make moves before we actually start living, you know, before we actually start living. This is just the beginning. You know, Yahweh Shai, you know, Yahweh Shemal Shai, they ready, they ready to get it started. That's why you see time moving faster. You know, he said for the elect's sake, With that scripture that says, he'll make a small one, a great nation, and he will hasten it in his time. You know.
Yep. Isaiah 60. Yep.
You
It's
got it.
another thing too, man. They will make a little one 1,000. I get that for you, bro, since you brought it up. Because it's part of the reward, man. Because as a man, you want your seed. You know, you want your seed spread throughout the earth, man. You want your seed to enjoy the earth. You want your seed to be born into an inheritance, man. You want your seed to have, you know, the structure of a father and mother, and brothers and sisters, and big families, and uncles and cousins and aunties and everybody in rulership and power, man. You want that as a man. Because it's bigger than us. It ain't just we got these personal wants and perks that no, we want the victory for the nation, man. You know, what me and the brother going into, this is a victory for the nation, not just an individual victory for a few Israelites. No, this is a victory for the nation. Every single Israelite is going to win based off what Yahweh Shai did on the cross, man. Every Israelite is going to win. It begins with the elect, and 2/3 they got to suffer what they got to suffer on this side, man. But when you look in big picture, the long view, when you talking about playing the long game, and that's another thing too, bro. Esau have us impulsive playing the short game. You know, that's why niggas die robbing Dollar Tree. You know, they're short game, they're short mindset. Okay, niggas just having random baby mamas, the woman just having random baby daddy, because it's a very short-sighted mindset, you know. But in this truth in Yahweh Shai, we started to look at the long game, you know, and it's a victory for everybody in the long game, because when you go into prophecy, matter of fact, I started Isaiah 60 and 17. It said, "For brass I will bring gold, and for iron I will bring silver, and for wood brass, and for stones iron, and I will make thy officers peace, and thy exactors righteousness," man. So this is what we're going to build with. This is going to be the building materials of the kingdom. Okay. So this is the Lord showing, for brass I will bring gold. That's an upgrade. So even the infrastructure, like the best, you know, you can go to these fancy hotels, restaurants, or this, or somebody mansion, or look at different palaces of the world today. Well, the Lord is saying, look, I'm gonna upgrade the infrastructure of the world for y'all. You know, they're showing you that the Lord is gonna make these resources increase and give forth his abundance. He's gonna make the earth give forth abundance in these resources, because we're gonna need a lot of building material. And we're gonna need a lot of labor, man. Okay? Going back to what? Hey, the reward. It said, "Violence shall no more be heard in thy land, wasting nor destruction within thy borders, but thou shalt call thy walls salvation and thy gates praise," man. Okay? Violence shall no more be heard in thy land. It'll never be a murder amongst Israel, man. You know, that'll never happen amongst us, man. You see, first of all, we're gonna be immortals and we can't die, man. Okay? But it'll never be a violence riddled community like here. You know, homicide riddled community. No, man. Okay, amongst the heathens out there on the outskirts, you might have a situation that's gonna be judged. Okay, but for us as a people, because what's one of the things that Jake like to do now to stop the violence rallies? Well, the king tell you, violence shall no more be heard in our land. The solution already laid out. That's another thing. We already have the solution to every situation you can think of amongst our people. There's already a solution for it, man. You know, and it's all written in prophecy. And it says, I'm gonna jump down to verse 21. This is the point. It says, "Thy people also shall be all righteous; they shall inherit the land forever. The branch of my planting, the work of my hands, that I may be glorified. A little one shall become 1,000, and a small one a strong nation. I, the Lord, will hasten it in this time." You got it, bro.
Kind. And that's a reward. That's beautiful. That's beautiful, because not only that, our people, like our women, they truly don't know how to be mothers, really. You know, not in its true fullness. Our people don't know how to be fathers, not in its true fullness. You know, not with not with what Yahweh Shemal Shai is about to bring. You'll be able to truly guide your sons, you know, guide your daughters in the way that they need to be brought up, also the way you want them to be brought up. You know, you having true control over their studies, over their discipline. You know, and they grow to be people like to even surprise you. You know, they grow to be people to even surprise you, and you're gonna have hundreds of people, hundreds of them following you, speaking to you, creating their own families. You know, because if you have like 12 sons, that's a band of men. That's a band of men.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
You know,
yeah, yeah. Hey, we getting back to having legacies and dynasties, bro. As men, you know, we get to build legacies and create dynasties in the earth, man, and all in righteousness, man. You know, and that's the privilege of the sons of God. You know, to be the top people in the earth forever, man. You know, to have their power. You know, to have their superiority, and it's all in righteousness, man. Because Esau has superiority. What does he do with it, man? He turned the earth into a bando, all right, a war zone, and a trap house, man. Okay, in the whorehouse, man. Okay, completely dysfunctional, man. Like you say, people have gotten so used to the dysfunction that they think it's some type of victory here. You know, what you guys, bro?
Kind, you know, they what to say? Oh, what that scripture says. It says, folly is set in great dignity. You know, folly is set in great dignity. And the rich, talking about the saints, sitting in low places. You know, they fell in love with our women have fell in love that they got the right to perform abortions. The right to deplete, to take
Yeah,
away
yeah,
from your
yeah.
people.
To destroy their own nation.
Yeah. Nah, Yahweh Shemal Shai's coming with with something better. He's coming with healing. Healing his wings. He's about to heal the nation. That dark stigma is gonna be wiped away. It's gonna be that cloud of shame is gonna be wiped away from us. You're gonna be a praise in the earth, you know? Bro, you can give me you got something?
Nah, you got what you got, bro.
You can give me Second Ezra chapter 8, verse 52. Yeah, start from verse 52 and maybe to
Okay,
54.
come.
Okay.
Okay, I got you, bro. And then I got one more. So we close it out, bro. Baba Shah, if you don't mind, I'm start at 51.
Kind.
This is the book of Second. This is the book of Second Ezra, chapter 8, verse 51. It said, "But understand thou for thyself, and seek out the glory for such as be like thee. For unto you is paradise open, and the tree of life is planted. The time to come is prepared. Plenty is made ready. A city is builded, and rest is allowed. Yeah, perfect goodness and wisdom. The root of evil is sealed up from you. Weakness and the moth is hid from you, and corruption is fled into hell to be forgotten. Sorrows are past, and in the end it showed the treasure of immortality."
Kind. Kind. Our people don't know what rest is for real. Our people don't know what peace is for real. You know? Yahweh Shemal Shai is going to allow that. He's going to allow that. He's going to give you servants. He's going to give you power. He's going to give you immortality, you know? But first, it's going to come to those that seek after him. That's why, and verse 51 said, "And seek out the glory for such as be like thee." You know? The rest of our people can't get it. They can't get it because they're in love. They're in love with Babylon. They're in love with this whore. And they're in love with Esau. You know? They are them that's gonna run down to Egypt for help, because they don't have the vision, because they believe in what the philosophies Esau Edom has given them. You know, they haven't taken out the shades Esau Edom has put on them. But through the power and grace of by Yahweh Shema Shai, He's given us the vision. He's given us the understanding to see what He's bringing forth and to seek Him. You know. Blessed are those that believe and have not seen. You know, that reward is coming. It's coming to you. You have so much. You have so much better coming. You know, all we must do is play the waiting game, and we don't have to play it too long. Look how fast time is moving.
Yeah. Oh man. Oh man. Hey, that's beautiful. All we have to do is play the waiting game. That's a lesson within itself, bro. You know, it's a lesson within itself, bro. We might have to get there, man. You know,
You got it.
and like you said, bro, time is speeding up. So the Lord is even making the Lord. So and that's heavy because not only is time speeding up with the Lord making it faster, He's making it easier to hate this world. Cause like, what the hell? Like, what does the world have to offer? Because everything is getting worse. Like you say, the food is getting worse. If you like the night scene getting worse. Okay, you chasing women, the women getting worse, man. Everything is getting worse. Niggas are getting worse, man. Okay, everything becoming out more alphabet, and now everything is getting worse. So the Lord is speeding the time up, and he's making it easier for us to hate this world, man. You know, so the Lord is setting us up to win. You see, what you got, bro?
Kind, Lord speeding us up, because what? He's ready. This place has become an eyesore. He's ready to wipe it away so he may do his, his good pleasure. It's gonna be his pleasure to wipe this place out. It's gonna be his pleasure to set this place on fire. But that good pleasure is him with beautifying his people, beautifying his elect, blessing his sons and his daughters. He ready for it. Yahweh Shai is ready for it, because Yahweh Shai, I'm ready to see Yahweh Shai reign, because he suffered a lot. He suffered tremendously. You know, Not only that, you want to see him rule. You want to see him rule. See how he get down. See how he move. To actually speak with him. To actually, live it up with him. Because it probably, no, not probably, he has things that's gonna blow our minds away. And you just ready for that. You got it out.
Come on, bro. Hey, I'm gonna get this, man. So I got one more precept, bro. Let's get this. So when you go to the book of Philippians 3:20 in the AMP, it says, "But we are different because our citizenship is in heaven, and from there we eagerly await the coming of the Savior, the Lord Yahweh Shai of Mashiach." And our citizenship being in heaven, is us, being citizens of a different age. Because when we're rehearsing the righteous acts, we're rehearsing on how to move in the kingdom, on how to be, on how to think, how to operate in the kingdom, how we operate amongst brothers. We're learning how to operate in the kingdom, okay? And it's out of this world. You see? We're operating in a whole different format than this world, okay? Because our citizenship is in the heavens, which Yahweh Shai is going to bring what? The heavens into the earth. That's why I say, and from there, we eagerly await the coming of our Savior, the Lord Yahweh Shai of Mashiach, man. We await. That's the only thing to look forward to, is the coming of Yahweh Shai, man. Everything else is something to do in the meantime, man. But the only thing to look forward to is the coming of Yahweh Shai. Okay. Verse 21, it says, "Who by exerting the power which enable him even to subject everything to himself, will not only transform but completely refashion our earthly bodies so that they will be like his glorious resurrected body," man. The best of the best. We're going to have a body that this earth has never seen, man. The earth has never seen extraterrestrials, man. Gods that have that have immortality but are able to enjoy, all right, the pleasures of the flesh and righteousness, man. Okay? The earth has never seen that, man. Okay, our women, because we're going to be upgraded. The women that we have going to be upgraded. The women that deliver with brothers, they going to be upgraded. And then the women that Yahweh Shai bringing with them, man, it's going to be women with these new bodies, Israelite women with these new bodies, never touched, man, as a part of the reward for brothers. You see? So this knowledge, Yahweh Shai going to give us the best of the best. There's lands that haven't been discovered on the earth. Of course, we're going to go to new planets. And that's, I know this brother, he love to go into that, intergalactic, aspect, man. But even just on the earth, man, there's lands that haven't been discovered on the earth, man. There's treasure under all this ice, okay, and different things that's in the earth, man. The earth is going to enlarge itself. We talk about how the earth is going to grow. This destruction going to bring about, because the earth going to terraform. So you can be new islands and new. There's things on this earth that we haven't touched. There's things that's untouched, that's preserved for the elect, man. And it's going to be the best of the best. There's foods we haven't tasted yet. There's fruit we don't know about, man. You know, the menu in the kingdom is gonna be it's gonna be the best of the best on another level, man. You know, and we can go on and on, you know, but we'll leave it there. You know, you had something to say, bro, before we close out?
If I do, we will probably just keep going.
Gun, bro. We'll save for another. No, we'll chop it up and then just turn to another lesson, bro. But hey, these lessons ain't nothing but continuations of, you know, the same doctrine, man. You know, so Lord will you brothers, all right, and you few sisters edified once again. You know, give all praise and the glory unto Yahweh by Hashem, Yahweh Shai by Hashem, Kakadash, and double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, being great examples towards younger brothers. And peace and blessing, salutation, hopefully, shalom.
Shalom.